The story opens with Earth under alien occupation. The Varik Empire, a militaristic species with advanced technology, conquered Earth in a swift campaign that lasted only 3 months. Their massive ships blocked out the sun, their energy weapons turned human cities to glass, and their ground forces overwhelmed every military on the planet. The main character, Tom, is a former history teacher who survived the invasion in the underground tunnels of New York. He leads a small group of survivors, including Lisa, a doctor, Mark, an engineer, and Anna, a young student. They witness the systematic destruction of human civilization as the Varik establish processing centers where humans are sorted, some for labor, others for experimentation, and many simply eliminated. The Varik commander Klex oversees the occupation. From his command ship, he views humans as primitive creatures, barely worth the resources spent conquering them. To him, Earth is just another world in the Empire's expansion, rich in resources but populated by insignificant beings. Tom's group discovers hidden caches left by government officials before the fall, not just weapons and supplies, but something else. Ancient texts, artifacts, and research from archaeological sites around the world. The previous government had been secretly studying these items, believing they held keys to humanity's forgotten past. The part ends with Tom finding a strange stone tablet covered in symbols that seem to shift when he's not looking directly at them. When he touches it, he experiences a brief flash of memory that isn't his own images of humans doing impossible things, bending reality itself. The tablet crumbles to dust, but something has awakened in Tom's mind. 3 months after the invasion, Tom begins experiencing strange dreams and visions. He sees glimpses of humanity's distant past, not the Stone Age taught in schools, but something far older and more mysterious. In these visions, humans don't use technology as the Varik do. Instead, they manipulate the fundamental forces of reality through pure will and understanding. Lisa notices changes in Tom. His injuries heal faster than they should. He seems to know things before they happen. When Varik patrols search their hideout, Tom somehow makes them overlook obvious signs of human presence. At first, the group thinks it's just luck. Meanwhile, across the world, other survivors begin manifesting similar abilities. Jack, a farmer in Australia, finds he can make plants grow in irradiated soil just by concentrating. Minya, hiding in the ruins of Moscow, discovers she can become invisible to electronic sensors. David, leading refugees in the Amazon, learns to communicate with animals and make them allies. Tom's group encounters Professor Reed, an elderly archaeologist who managed to escape the processing centers. Reed explains what he learned before the invasion. Humanity is far older than anyone knew. The archaeological record only shows the last few thousand years because something happened, great forgetting, that made humans abandon their true nature and embrace primitive tools and technology. Reed reveals that ancient human civilizations didn't build with stone and metal because they didn't need to. They were capable of manipulating matter and energy directly, of traveling between stars without ships, of healing without medicine. But this power came with a price. It required absolute understanding of one's place in the universe and complete harmony between mind, body, and spirit. The Varik, Reed explains, are like humanity's current form, dependent on external technology, having forgotten their inner potential. They conquer worlds because they cannot create, only take what others have built. As more humans begin to remember their true nature, the Varik notice their operations becoming disrupted. Equipment malfunctions in impossible ways. Human prisoners escape from supposedly secure facilities. Entire patrols vanish without trace. Commander Klex becomes increasingly frustrated as his reports to the Empire show decreasing efficiency despite overwhelming technological superiority. 6 months after the invasion, the awakening spreads rapidly. Tom's abilities have grown stronger, and he can now teach others to access their dormant potential. The group establishes contact with other survivor cells worldwide, sharing knowledge and techniques for unlocking human abilities. They learn that the key is not fighting the Varrock with their own methods, but remembering what humanity truly is. The ancient power doesn't come from anger or hatred, but from understanding and connection to each other, to the earth, and to the deeper patterns that govern reality. Maya, a young girl in Tom's group, proves especially gifted. She can heal others by touching them and seems to understand the ancient symbols instinctively. Through her, they learn that the Varrock's technology actually disrupts the natural flow of energy that awakened humans can perceive and manipulate. The resistance begins operating differently. Instead of guerrilla attacks, they focus on liberation freeing humans from processing centers not through violence, but by awakening their captive brothers and sisters to their true nature. A touch, a word, a shared understanding is often enough to trigger the remembering process. Commander Klex reports increasingly bizarre incidents to his superiors. Humans walking through solid walls, disappearing and reappearing elsewhere, causing machinery to disassemble itself without touching it. The Empire's scientists cannot explain these phenomena, as they contradict everything they know about physics and biology. The Varrock bring in their most advanced weapons and sensors, but these prove useless against abilities that operate on principles. Their technology cannot detect or counter. They increase security, but awakened humans seem to slip through any barrier like it doesn't exist. Professor Reed discovers the location of an ancient site, a place where the old knowledge was preserved, in its purest form. Hidden beneath the ice of Antarctica, it contains not artifacts, but living memory itself, crystallized in ways that transcend physical matter. Tom leads an expedition to the site, but they face a challenge. The Varrock have detected the energy signatures and established a heavily fortified base there. However, the base's presence is actually weakening the site's protective barriers, allowing the ancient power to leak out and affect anyone nearby, including the Varrock soldiers. At the Antarctic site, Tom's group discovers the full truth about humanity's past. The ancient humans weren't just powerful. They were part of a cosmic cycle, guardians of balance in the universe. Their abilities came from understanding that consciousness itself is the fundamental force from which all reality emerges. But this power came with responsibility. The ancient ones weren't conquerors or destroyers. They were cultivators and protectors. They helped younger species develop, guided the growth of life throughout the galaxy, and maintained the delicate balance that allowed consciousness to flourish. That the great forgetting wasn't an accident or catastrophe. It was a choice. When younger species began developing technology without wisdom, creating weapons that threatened the cosmic balance, the ancient humans chose to limit themselves. They suppressed their own abilities and adopted primitive technology to serve as an example, hoping to guide others towards sustainable development. Maya, now fully awakened, reveals that the Varrock Empire itself is the result of this ancient intervention. Thousands of years ago, the Varrock were a dying species, saved by ancient humans who taught them basic technology and helped them survive. But instead of learning wisdom, they used this gift to conquer and destroy. Commander Klex experiences his own awakening when exposed to the site's energy. He remembers his species' true history and realizes that the Varrock Empire has become everything the ancient humans tried to prevent. His own people were once peaceful, but they forgot their origins and became addicted to conquest and control. The truth creates a crisis among both humans and Varrock. Some awakened humans want to use their power to drive out the invaders and reclaim Earth. Others, understanding the ancient responsibility, argue that they must help the Varrock remember their own true nature rather than simply defeating them. Tom faces a personal test. when he realizes his growing power could easily destroy the entire Varik fleet. The ancient abilities don't just allow healing and creation. They can unmake anything that exists, reducing matter to its basic components with a thought. The temptation to use this power is overwhelming, especially after seeing the suffering the Varik have caused. Professor Reed warns that this is exactly how species fall into darkness, by choosing the easy path of destruction over the difficult work of healing and teaching. The ancient humans could have conquered the galaxy, but instead they chose to serve it. Meanwhile, more Varik soldiers are affected by the awakening energy. Some rebel against their commanders, while others experience profound confusion as their suppressed memories surface. The Empire's rigid hierarchy begins to break down as individuals start making their own choices rather than following orders. The part ends with a crucial decision point. Tom must choose whether to unleash humanity's full power against the Varik, or attempt something far more difficult, helping both species remember what they were meant to be. Tom chooses the ancient path. Rather than destroying the Varik, he and the other awakened humans begin the slow work of healing both species. They establish sanctuaries where humans and Varik can safely undergo the awakening process together, learning to see beyond the cycle of conquest and revenge. Commander Klex, now fully awakened, becomes an ally in this process. He helps other Varik understand their true history and the price their species paid for embracing endless expansion. Many resist, but others begin to remember the peaceful civilization they once were. The process isn't easy. The Varik Empire sends reinforcements to crush what they see as a rebellion. Ancient humans who awaken too quickly sometimes lose control of their abilities, accidentally causing damage they never intended. Some humans reject the awakening entirely, preferring the familiar simplicity of technology in warfare. Maya emerges as a bridge between the species, her natural understanding of the ancient ways, helping both humans and Varik find their path back to balance. She demonstrates that true power comes not from dominating others, but from helping them discover their own potential. The story's climax occurs when the Varik Empire's main fleet arrives to destroy Earth completely, seeing it as too dangerous to allow to exist. Tom and the other awakened humans face their ultimate test. They have the power to destroy the fleet instantly, but doing so would betray everything they've learned about the ancient way. Instead, they choose a different approach. They extend their awakening energy to encompass the entire fleet, giving every being aboard the chance to remember who they truly are. Some fight the awakening, but many embrace it, remembering lives of purpose beyond conquest. The transformation spreads throughout the galaxy as awakened beings carry the knowledge to other worlds. The Varik Empire doesn't collapse, it evolves, becoming something new. Some worlds choose technology, others embrace the ancient ways, and many find a balance between both paths. Earth becomes a center of learning, where species come to study the balance between power and wisdom. The scars of invasion heal, but they're not forgotten. They serve as reminders of what happens when power is pursued without understanding. Tom, no longer just a teacher, but a guide for both species, reflects on what they've learned. Humanity didn't return with better weapons or superior technology. They returned with something the universe had almost forgotten: the understanding that true strength comes from connection, not domination, from healing, not harming, from helping others grow rather than conquering them. The story ends with a glimpse of the future, a galaxy where species work together, each contributing their unique gifts to the cosmic community. The ancient cycle continues, not through force or technology, but through the patient work of consciousness itself, growing and learning and becoming more than it was before. Humanity had been taken, but they came back with something more ancient. In war, they came back with the wisdom to transcend it.